that great introduction. I'm super glad and excited to be here. Can everybody hear me so clearly? Can you let me know in the chat box if you can hear me clearly from your end? Let me just know. Give me an emoji in the chat box that you can hear me. Welcome to this awesome webinar. We're going to have a great time today. We're going to have a great time today. Super glad and excited to have you on board. So, let me see who we have had joining. Thank you, Osota. Thank you, Yebimpe. Thank you, Dr. Abiola. Thank you, Dr. Tim. That's my husband. Thank you, sir, and welcome. Thank you, Mr. Funmi Helen Alagbe. Thank you for everyone that has really joined. We are so glad to have you here. If you're new to our community or you're just joining us for the first time, or for people that will be watching the replay later on, we are Rise to Parents. As Folakemi has gladly introduced, we are Rise to Parents, formerly Parenting Grace. Formerly Parenting Grace. And we recently, did a rebranding to Rise to Parent. Rise to Parent is an action word. It's an action. It's not Rise to Parent. It's Rise to Parent. Parent is a verb. It's an action word. It's a call to action for us as parents, to arise, to parent our kids, in the right way, because there's no better time to do that than now. There's no better time to do that than now. So it's an action word. Rise to parent. Rise to raise your kids in this day and age, in this generation of so many things calling for the attention of the children. There's no better time for us to arise as parents and take up our responsibility to begin to raise the most vulnerable people that God has committed into our hands. The work we do as parents is very, very critical, very important, because it determines the course of life of the children within us. It determines what their future will be. It can make or mar them. So it's very key, it's very important. God is really calling all of us to arise to our responsibility and to parent our kids. All right. Okay, so our mission is to equip parents with tools and strategy to raise value-based, resilient, and successful children in the digital age, nurturing each child's unique potential. That is our mission. We are equippers. We are here to equip you as parents. We are here to give you the tools and strategies, to raise these kids that God has given you. So they said parenting is hard. It's hard if we don't know what to do. It's hard if we're just parenting by default. We're just living every day as we want. And we don't really have a roadmap. We don't know where we are going. We don't know how to get there. It could be challenging. And we could end up destroying the lives of those kids, not setting them up for success in life. So, but that's why we are here today, to equip you with knowledge, with tools, with that you need to ensure that you're able to raise your kids, in this digital age in the most appropriate way. So tonight is going to be an extraordinary night. One thing I want us to do, if you're here right now, you have joined, you have the link to this meeting. You will do us a lot of good and do humanity a lot of good by sharing that link right now and inviting people to join right now. Tell them that we already started. Tell them that they don't want to miss. You have WhatsApp group, you have friends and families. So tonight, I'm going to look at the topic, cracking the parenting code. And on that topic, we'll be looking at some of the hidden challenges, enemies of successful parenting, and how we can help so we can begin to get the right strategies and solutions to combat those problems, those challenges that we face as parents. So that's what it's going to be like tonight. And it's going to be an extraordinary night. So, and if you're just joining, I don't want you to go away at all, because I have something reserved for us towards the end of this video. And it's only for those people that stay to the end. So it's an incredible gift. You won't believe it. So we have a gift. We have something for you at the end of the webinar. So you want to stay. It's only for those that stay to the end. Now, in starting this conversation tonight, I want to ask us a question. When you think of your biggest parenting challenges, what comes to your mind? What comes to mind? What do you feel are the biggest obstacle to raising the kind of children that you hope to raise? What are the obstacles you face in your parenting journey? I want you to go to the chat box right now and begin to drop that. What are those challenges that you face in your parenting journey? What does it look like? What are those challenges? Is anybody using the chat box? I need to see that right now. What are your most pressing parenting challenges? Peer pressure. Thank you. That's Grace. Okay, peer pressure. Peer pressure. I want you to keep it coming. What are your most pressing challenges? Most pressing parenting challenges today? Look at your interaction with your kids and your effort raising them in today's sexual purity. Bolakemi Asho, thank you for dropping that. And Grace, thank you for dropping that as well. Social media, Shikade, yes, thank you. Yeah, let's keep them coming. What are your most pressing parenting challenges? Mood swings, yeah, let's keep them coming. What are those challenges that we face? Environmental influence. Thank you. Grace, thank you. Yes, let's keep them coming. What are those challenges you face? What are the things that you wish, oh, I wish this would go away. I wish there's a solution to this. I wish that parenting doesn't have to be this hard. What are those things that seems that makes parenting hard for you? What are your day-to-day parenting challenges that you're facing today? Social influence. Thank you. What's it, Daniel? Thank you so much. I want you to keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Some Aderemi Akode say my partner has a view that I am strong-handed on our first child, but I want her to be strong on our own. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Guys, you can drop a sentence just like Aderemi has just done to express yourself, but let us know what are those challenges that you face. Why do people say parenting is hard? What is it that you see? What behavior are you observing with your children? With your parenting, with your partner, everything. Just let us know what those challenges are. Your Folakemi is saying that balanced approach to parenting, parents being on the same page in parenting approach. That's really profound. Cultural, modern ideology. That is, I think, Pastor Abiola. Thank you. And then Abigail says time for the children. All these are really, really time. Yes. Adiola said time. Yes. These are really, really real issues and challenges of modern parenting. These are real issues. So still keep them coming. Keep them coming. Those challenges are most pressing. They are most pressing for you today as a parents. Keep them coming. Thank you so much for those that have dropped that. Thank you for dropping those. Let me go back now. One thing that is I want to say is that parenting challenges are universal. So take parents from US, from Asia, from Africa, from Europe, from wherever. Ask them this question. Parenting challenges are universal. People are going to mention most of the things that we have mentioned here. So we are all in the same boat. We are all in the same boat. So parenting challenges is not peculiar to a particular tribe or particular group of people. It is universal. Okay, so this is one of the questions that we ask people when we do our masterclass, our parenting workshop, asking them what are their challenges. Because first of all, you need to begin to start to think. Because if you don't know the problem, it will be difficult for you to know the answers and the response to that. So the first step in problem solving is to really identify the problem. That's why I asked us to start. Some of us might have to start to think, now what exactly are those? Because we have not thought of it, in a concrete way to put them down. But that's the first step we need to start to do. Think about what are the pressing challenges that we are facing and put them down. So let us keep them coming. It doesn't matter if you have dropped one before. If you remember another one, please keep dropping in the chat box, because that will also help us to help you in subsequent sessions that we're going to put together, So I'm super excited about what we're going to learn tonight, and welcome again. So I encourage you to stay to the end, and because we have that special gift that we are going to announce as we wrap up. So I will start to share my screen right now. All right, so let's get started with this. So cracking the parenting code. Let me move this out of my way. All right. Okay, so cracking the parenting code. Usually I like to start with quotes because quotes actually, stimulates us. It really motivates us. It helps us. It gets us to start to think, about what is research-based sometimes, most times, and what is really needed for us as parents. Sometimes if people don't put those things out there, we don't even think that way. We don't naturally go there. But when you start to read powerful quotes, it really gets you thinking. It really motivates. So this is a quote from Dr. Laura Markham, and she said, when parents make small positive changes in their approach, they often see big improvements in their child's behavior and emotional well-being. It's about consistency and connection. It's about consistency and connection. When parents make small positive changes, usually most times what gives us the solution is not really a lot of big, it's not complex. They are small positive changes. They're small, they're positive, but they're changes. But human beings, we resist change. We don't want to. That's the last thing people want to do. They resist change. But we cannot continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. So we need to do something differently. We need to make small positive changes in our approach. Look at all the problems that we have identified today. We need to begin to make some changes to seek solution, to really move from the problem to the solution that we hope to see. So when we make those small changes, they don't give us small results. They give us big improvements. Tweak something, and that is why I'm here today. That's one of the things we are set up for as Rise to Parent, to help you with those tools, those skills, those strategies that you need to make those small changes, but in a consistent way. While we're talking today, all the things that we're going to be talking about, you'll be hearing the word consistency come through. You'll be hearing the word connection come through, because they're very key and very important. Okay, that is that quote for us. And there is another quote from a favorite person, Dr. Jane Nelson. Dr. Jane Nelson is one of the founders of Positive Discipline. We've had to be in the same room together and in Zoom meetings and all that. She's profound. And she said, positive discipline is about teaching and guiding children, not just correcting them. Not just correcting them. And she's also alluding to what we just said. She said, small shifts in how we communicate and set boundaries can lead to significant changes in the child's ability to self-regulate and cooperate. Small shifts in how we communicate, in how we set boundaries, in how we do many things. Small shifts can lead to significant changes. It's just about the same thing. And that's exactly true. How many of us really agree with this? Let me hear in the comment section. Do you agree with this quote? Do you agree? Yes, you agree. Thank you. I want to see more response in the chat box. Do you agree with this quote? That you just need sometimes to make small changes. You see, have you heard about the Pareto rule? That says like 80% of the problems can be solved when you focus on some 20%. That 20%, the core major ones, focus on that, and it will give you massive results. Exactly. Yes, you agree. Thank you, Adebisi. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Israel. Thank you, Adiola. Yes, small changes, small changes. So we cannot continue to do things the same way and expect a different result. And what I want to do today is to help us to address, to unpack those enemies of successful parenting, those limitations. And it's because it's only when we see things the way they really are that we can begin to make changes in our own belief system, in our own approach to parenting, in the methods that we use. And I want to show you how your thinking sometimes, how our thinking and our belief system can fuel the outcomes that we have as parents. And we want to fix that, because if we don't fix the mindset, it will be difficult for us to embrace new things. It will be very difficult for us to embrace new things. So I'm going to admonish you today to get ready to learn. We have a lot. I have to cut down the number of things I want to say because of time. One thing about Rise to Parent, anytime you see us show up, we don't just give instructions, okay? We give transformation. We'll give you practical tools that you can go away with and you can begin to implement right away, and you will see results. That's our commitment. Because we are not doing this for the gain. We are doing it for the passion, for transformation. So many meetings or parenting programs that you go to, they give you instructions. Some of them even instill fear in people. But then we are committed to giving you solutions and strategies that will bring transformation to you. So I want you to open your mind up and be ready to learn. Because there's something about what many of us human beings, we are wired, to be self-defensive. Especially when we begin to hear something, somebody begin to share with us something that contradicts of what we already known before, something that makes us uncomfortable, or where they're sharing a different paradigm that is different from our existing ideologies. So our first response is to, first of all, discount it. Our first response, most times, is first of all to put up that wall, that defense, and say, what are they even saying? Now they want to start to teach us how to parent our kids. Have you heard people say that? I'm sure those people are not here. They're not here in this meeting today. Have you heard people say that they want to start to teach us how to parent? There's nothing you don't learn, because the job that you do, if you don't go to the school and learn the trade of that job, you will not be hired. The same thing is parenting doesn't come, natural. And parenting is not about providing food. It's not about providing food and clothing and shelter alone. There's a lot that has to do with discipline, taking a child from one state to another, producing an adult. When your child that you have with you, the same child in a different context, put the child in another environment with a different parent, do you know the outcome might be different? It's just based on, the method and the systems and the roadmap that person is following. So there's a lot to learn about parenting. People raise great kids. How do they do it? What tools and strategies? There's a lot of research. There's a lot that's gone ahead that we need to start to learn, relearn and unlearn. So I'm saying this so that we could have an open mind. Don't be part of the people, that snigger and say, what are they saying? All these parenting coach all around, what are they talking about? Don't be that kind of person. And if you're that kind of person, I'm saying this so that you could catch yourself. Don't do that, because you miss out on what is very important for you to have an outcome for your kids in the future. The outcome we experience in our parenting today is closely linked to our mindsets, our paradigms, the way we think, the way we see things. Don't resist. Don't put up that self-defense. So don't snigger around, okay? Have an open mind. Get ready to learn, because we are in for a great moment. All right. So how many people are ready for me to go into the main session? Fully ready, ma. Well done. Olufote, wow. Yes, ready. Fola is ready. Osota is ready. Shei is ready. Adebanke ready to go. Awesome. Yes, NK ready. Funke Onokoya fully ready. Beautiful. I love it. All right. So let's go. So I'm going to be looking at 5 hidden enemies of successful parenting and the strategies to overcome them. Please share the links to people if you have not done so. Share the links. Many people need to be here. Remind them on your WhatsApp groups that the meeting has started. All right. So 5 hidden enemies of successful parenting. And another question I want to ask us, I've asked us questions about our most pressing challenges. The other question I want to ask is, when you imagine what a successful parenting journey looks like, what do you envision for yourself and for your child? You're going to go to the chat box again. When you imagine the question, when you imagine what a successful parenting journey looks like, what do you envision for yourself? What do you envision for your children? I want you to really think about it and drop something in the chat. I want to read your comments. Thank you. Wemimo said you're ready to go. Awesome. Oh yeah, now the next question. Let's begin to answer that. What do you hope to see? When we do workshop, we have asked this question. We say, look at the age of your kids right now. Maybe they are 10, they are 12, they are 8. Add 20 years or 10 years or 15 years to their time, to their age, when they have now become an adult. So as an adult, they come back to visit you, to greet you, as grandmom or as mom. And what kind of an adult do you hope to see in that child? What characteristics and life skills do you want to see in the adult that you have produced? We need to start to think about these questions because they really matter. They help us to begin with the end in mind. That's what Stephen Covey said. Begin with the end in mind. So I want us to begin to draw in the chat room, what does successful parenting look like for you, for your child? What do you envision for yourself? What do you envision for your child? Nobody is typing. I'm waiting. We're ready for us to go. What do you want to see in your child? What do you want to see? What does success look like for you in parenting? Yeah, because you see what these questions are very important because it gets us to start to think. And I will tell you, there are families that have really raised world changers. They have raised people, kids, that transform the world. It doesn't come by chance. It doesn't come by parenting by default. Just waking up every day, make sure they eat. Are you fine? You have good clothes to wear. That's not parenting. Those are basic needs that you're supposed to provide. But there is a whole, planning roadmap that goes into raising the kind of adults you want to see. Thank you for keeping those comments coming. Adiola King said, a responsible adult who can navigate and succeed in any society she finds herself. Wow, beautiful. I love that. I love that. When Mimo says, when I see them fulfilling purpose and successful in their chosen careers and fields, they are matured, good, and decent. Awesome. This is beautiful stuff, guys. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Oyebimpe Akimbumi said, I envisioned responsible and God-fearing adults. Beautiful. Shike said, a resilient child with positive values. Fola said, a well-rounded child, successful in all aspects of life and fulfilling purpose. That is awesome. Sheyi Alagbe say, godly, disciplined, self-confident children. Beautiful. Awesome. These are great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you for dropping those. We're still expecting more. We've just received like 7 or 6. We are about 30 here. So I want you to begin to drop that in the comment. What exactly do you see? Begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Because if you don't know where you're going, it's not likely you're going to chart a course for yourself. You're going to have a roadmap because you don't even know where you're going. And when you get there, you don't even know. And you're not likely to get there because you don't know where you're going. So that's why it's good for us to keep that in perspective. What exactly are we looking for? What does success look like for you? And for me, I believe success in parenting means building a strong and trusting relationship with my children, where they see me both as their ally and at the same time as a steady guide for them. And I want to build a lasting legacy of faith and wealth for my children. That's for me. And for my children, I want them to be raised, to be children who are grounded in strong values, who are spiritually rooted. I want them to be socially aware and empowered to reach their full potential as capable, contributing members of the society. So we need to start to have that. If you don't know I want to give you an assignment, go back home and sit on this. If you need to research, what exactly do I want? Because you need to still keep that in focus. And these are the kind of things we teach in our master classes. I'm going to tell us about our master class as we go on. We help you to draft out your family values. Have that vision. Think for yourself in the future. What do you want? So if you have not really given a thought to this, I want you to really take it as something that you need to do. Yes, did I read? I read Akinshola said, godly child that turns out to be responsible adult. Beautiful. Funke Onokoya said, balanced, well-rounded, and independent children. Great, great, great. Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you for keeping that coming. So, number one enemy that I want to share today is discipline inconsistency. Discipline inconsistency. What does that look like? So, discipline inconsistency arises when parents struggle to find the right approach to parenting. When they struggle to find the right approach to parenting. And a discipline inconsistency generally appears in 2 main forms. The first one is discipline confusion, and the other one is discipline drift. And I will explain what this means. So when we talk about discipline confusion, it stems from not having a clear parenting style. Somebody has mentioned that people doing things, both parents not be on the same page. Yeah. If we don't have a clear-cut parenting style, it brings confusion in discipline. And this occurs at the level of that parenting style when parents struggle to find a balance between being too lenient and being too strict. We don't have a clear-cut pattern or plan of what parenting style do we should adopt. And there are different parenting styles. And based on your personality, based on your upbringing, you have adopted a particular parenting style. You might not have given thought to it. And these are kind of things that we teach in detail. So when there is confusion from we don't know what parenting style to, because there's so many things, that really confuses people. We move from one end of the pendulum to another end of the pendulum, depending on what people see around us or what we see people do or the method that we see people adopt. And also, this is also particular for parents in diaspora, for parents that have left the shore of Nigeria and they find themselves in another country, or they've suddenly realized that the parenting style that they are so used to in Nigeria, beating children, spanking, beating them and shouting on them and do all sorts of things, that when they get to a different country that have different laws, those rules, those discipline methods are no longer applicable. They can no longer use it because they're now suddenly confronted with laws in the new country that restrict their autonomy on the use of that punitive method of parenting. So you can no longer beat a child because they've told the kids at school that they inform the kids of what their rights are. And kids are coming back home to tell you, you cannot beat me. They must not see it in school. They must not know you cannot beat me. So parents are kind of confused. There's a research that says parents are confused. They don't know what to do next. They don't know which way to go. You used to be authoritarian. And then because of the law and restriction, many parents just move to the permissive side. Permissiveness, where anything just goes. No structure, no boundaries. And when they start to see the result of that in their kids' behavior, they start to like, what is happening here? They start to think and say, wow, I think this is not working. And they're confused. So discipline confusion is where we don't know what parenting style to adopt. For example, a parent might ignore a child's disrespectful tone one day, and next time you punish it very harshly. So the child herself is confused. What exactly do you? Sometimes I do this, you don't say anything, but now I do it, you do. We are so inconsistent in that. And that really have its own impact on the children. One of the also reasons that we are inconsistent in discipline is because of our fear. We fear making mistakes. So we start to second guess ourselves. Am I being too strict? Am I being too lenient? And then today you are strict, tomorrow you are lenient. We move back and forth. So if we are not sure, we just move around in this cycle of experimentation. And that in itself brings confusion and doesn't help kids to behave well at all. So you start to feel guilty when you think you're being harsh. And sometimes when you think, oh, you're being too lenient, and you start to feel frustrated when you see the misbehavior that's coming from your kids because they're becoming spoiled brats. So this is one of the problems that we have. And the second form of that is what I call discipline drift. Discipline drift occurs when parents start to bend rules based on circumstances around them. Maybe we suddenly hit a busy season and we are not able to focus on what we used to focus on, even though your parenting style, but you're not able to focus on because you're busy. Everybody is just doing their own thing. With that, kids really see that, there's a lot of loose ends here, and they start to misbehave. Things that they don't do before, they start to test boundaries. It happens to all of us. There was a time in our family that we were very busy. My husband was busy, I was busy. We just really realized that some of the rules that we have really set up before, we just see that kids are now trying to, test their boundaries, trying to put on TV during the day when you're not supposed to. I'm like, where did that come from? And then we have to quickly realize that, we have been inconsistent in this way. And if you continue to do that, there are implications of that. So we have to really course correct. It's not that you won't make mistakes, but you are supposed to course correct. You're supposed to come back to the track. You see? So when we drift away from the agreed plans and rules and strategies that we have set, it really brings a lot of confusion for the children. And I'll use an analogy. for you so that you could really understand. So discipline drift is like a gradual wearing away of rock by water and wind. I have a background in geology and I love rocks. You see that on that left-hand side, you see that rock, how you can clearly see the demarcations, the striations, as we call it. You can see the fold. You can see it very clearly. Because so that happens when we have clear-cut boundaries. What we to do, the rules is there. But with constant, elements of water, winds, temperature, erosion and all that coming to that rock, it suddenly starts to weather away. Weathering of the rock sets in, and then you see it turn to the rock on my right in the other picture that you can see. So what the lines that were once really clear is now blurred. Children don't know what to do. It's not clear what direction they should take. And exactly what happens when we are not consistent with our discipline method. So kids can begin to test the boundaries. They don't know what to do. So the lines that were once very clear, with that constant wear and tear, we leave our children unsure of what to expect, and that does not give them security. So what are the implications of this? This can lead to loss of respect for rules if that continues for a while. They don't respect the rules again. So if a teenager notices that you set a curfew for her to come home, by say 7 o'clock, and that is not consistently enforced, she will start to come late. Because if it's not consistently enforced, it means that she comes home at 7, 8, another day, you do not just say anything, or you just brush it aside. Another time she comes late, you're really harsh. It's just being inconsistent. They don't know what to expect. So they will start to really take advantage of that. They won't follow the rules. They lose respect for that rule. So they will just assume that there won't be any consequences if they follow that rule. Maybe even if there's any consequences, it should just be brief, you just talk. So they will lose respect totally for rules. And this can lead to defiance. And the parent will start to say, have I not told you? The day you suddenly realize that this is becoming consistent, they are no more following the rules, you start to shout on them. Did I not tell you before that you should be here by 7? How many times do you want me to tell you? Or you're asking them to clean their room. You said it 7 times. I've told you 7 times to clean your room, but you have not done it. Sometimes we need to look behind the surface and see what actually is really resulting into this. They start to lose respect for rules if we are inconsistent as our parents. And one good thing, one thing is that as parents, as children continue to grow, and they start to enter puberty, they start to enter the teenage years. If they do enter this stage of life without consistent leadership, this period of their lives now becomes very difficult for parents. Because on a natural day, it's common for teens not to listen to their parent because of their wiring. A lot of emotional development, psychologically, things are changing in their brain. So they might not even listen all the time. And you're not couple that with, add inconsistency on top of that. So with that, it will be very hard for them to really follow rules, and makes your parenting very, very challenging and very difficult. So what are we supposed to do? We have to be consistent. I'll share some strategies with us. But the next point I want to mention here is that they also begin to struggle with authority beyond homes. Kids could go to school and they start to misbehave. They don't follow rules because they are not used to following rules, and they start to get into trouble with school authorities, and they are calling parents here and there today and tomorrow, feeling embarrassed by your child's behavior. These kind of things happen if we are inconsistent. It creates tension in our parent relationship. There's a lot of stress, and that can lead to stress for parents, like I said. So when boundaries are clear, children feel secure. When boundaries are clear, children feel secure. Discipline is effective, and your parenting becomes easier. That's it. When boundaries are clear, children feel secure, your discipline becomes effective, parenting becomes easier. So, is anybody still following me? Is anybody still following me at all? Say yes, yes, yes. Use your favorite emoji if you're still following me. I still continue to invite more people. Yes, I want to see in the chat box, Israel, thank you. Wemimo, thank you. Funke, thank you. Yes, you're following me. Awesome, thank you. Adiola, Kishola, thank you so much for following. Thank you. Awesome. So, Jimmy, thank you so much. Don't forget to invite people, like I said. Invite your friends and get them to join it. So what are the solutions? Number one thing is identify your parenting style. I've said it while I was explaining the enemy. What's your parenting style? According to research, we have authoritarian, we have authoritative, we have permissive, we have neglective parenting. So which one is your parenting style? You need to identify that and need to know, okay, how did I pick up this parenting style? Maybe my personality, my upbringing, my experiences. But what is the best parenting style according to research? Before I started on my parenting journey, I used to be an authoritarian person because I was raised by an authoritarian father. My mom she's I think is more on the lenient and the permissive side. She's on this call. So, and for me, I took that authoritarian, and my husband is kind of like on the permissive. But at this point, with knowledge, we both have come to really adopt the right approach to parenting, where we're able to balance kindness with firmness. And it's so beautiful. We need that balanced approach. We need to understand what our parenting, style is. And these are the kind of things we will teach when we get into the masterclass. And that's why I don't want anybody to miss that. So, for example, if your child wants to watch a program on the TV and it is time to stop, what does kind and firm parenting mean? A child might begin to ask you, please, can I more? Can I have some more time? If you have agreed beforehand that this is how much time they should have, or this is when the TV should go off, and you start to loosen that rule, that's where the problem comes. To be kind and firm is to say that, oh, I understand that you would like to continue to watch your TV, but sorry, it is time. You don't need to shout. You're being firm, but at the same time, you're being kind. You don't really say anything that really attacks the child's, self-esteem because of that. So balancing kindness and firmness is something we teach extensively. All right. What's the other thing you need to do? Replace perfection, with consistency. Parenting is not about perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. And I've said that in this teaching, you're going to see consistency coming through a lot. Parenting is not about perfection. So what you need to do is to agree on consequences. Life is all about consequences. See, as adults in the life that we live, everything is all about consequences. The world runs on consequences. Everybody, enjoy the consequences. Either you enjoy it, you don't enjoy it, you have the consequences of your action. That's life. You come to work late as an adult, it means that you're going to stay extra time to cover the time that you lost in the morning. So that's what it's all about consequences. And if you continue to come late to work, it becomes consistent. What's going to happen? You make a pattern of coming late. What happens that you might receive a warning? You might receive a warning from people, from your employer saying, okay, this is becoming a pattern. Life is all about consequences. And you don't perform on the job, some people might get fired. It's all about consequences. You don't work, you don't get paid. You, as a student, you don't meet the deadline to apply for something. You don't get into that cohort. You might have to wait another year. Life is all about consequences. Or you have a car, you're driving a car, you bash somebody, and you have insurance. When you report it to your insurance, it means that your premium will go up. Life is all about consequences. So we don't shield our children from consequences at all. Let them, have that consequence. You're preparing them for the future that they are growing into. Prepare your children for the future that they will grow into. Don't shield them. A lot of parents shield their children from consequences, all in the name of we love them. You're not preparing them for the future that they're growing into, for the world that they're going into. So if a child disobeys your technology rule, apply the agreed consequences. You have agreed ahead of time. Okay, this is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to play game at this time, and you're doing that. So you're going to have consequences for your action. Life is all about consequences. And also focus on progress, not perfection. Focus on progress, not perfection. Consistent progress is what we need, not perfection. Nobody is perfect. No. If you make mistake, acknowledge that you make mistake, adjust, and continue with your plans. That's the way it works. So think of consistency, as a GPS on a route. You're going somewhere. You set your GPS to where you're going, and as you go, you miss your turning. If you miss your turn, if you have a good GPS, every GPS will reroute you. It will reroute you back to the right way where you should be going to. But if you consistently disobey that GPS and you continue on the wrong path, you're not going to get your destination. That's what happens. So to miss our turning 1 or 2 times is not a problem. That's why I say it's not about perfection. It's about realizing it and making adjustments, turning back and getting back on the track. And that's what parenting is all about. You realize that this is not working well. You come back, you call a family meeting. My family had to call a family meeting like 2 weeks ago. We had a good time with family meeting. These are tools and strategies that we teach you on how to get your kids to follow rules and to make parenting very easy. Number 3, keep rules consistent even in busy times. This is very key. Keep rules consistent even in busy time. There are times that we are busy, and I understand that. Busy times, yes. But what we need to do is to prioritize non-negotiable rules. What are those rules that are non-negotiable for us? What are they? Identify those rules that are non-negotiable and stick to them, no matter how busy you are. It could be 2 or 3 rules, but they're very important. How do you determine those rules? They are core. They are core to you, to your family. They are tied to your values. And that's why we take people through certain family values. It's very important. You should have it. So based on your values, you need to have some rules that you will consistently, follow through with, because no matter what, even when you get busy, we can't, I'm sure most of us are not getting any less busier. But really, there are things that we need to do to ensure that we are still modeling consistency. I'll give you an example. My family used to live in Canada, where we have a lot of, where during this time of the year, it's winter, it's snow everywhere. Temperature is about minus 35, minus 30 sometimes. Sometimes you're lucky, minus 20. It's very cold. The road is slippery. By 4 o'clock, it's dark. Nobody wants to go out, And this is a time where my husband was away from Canada working somewhere else. So I was kind of like, for that moment, single parenting inside the house. And I have two grown-up kids. By January, I will have 2 teenagers. So those 2, we have signed them up for Bible quiz in church. It means that I have to drive like 15 minutes to drop them in church. They will be there for about 2 hours, and I have to go back to pick them. And this period, I was heavily pregnant with my baby. I have a toddler as well. I was pregnant, 7 months. I would carry them. Along my way, I would still carry other kids to join us, and then we'll go to Bible quiz. And then when it's time, I'll get on the car, I'll start to go and pick them. Was it easy for me? No, it wasn't easy. But when I looked at it, it was core. These are core activities that ties to our values of godliness. It's very important for me. And that's why you must identify what your values are. And start to identify what are those key things, that are really, really important to you. And even in busy times, you keep at it. One of the coordinators had to come and wonder, wow, you're busy, and you're pregnant like this, 7 months, and you're still driving in winter when everything is cold. We wear our gloves everywhere it's cold. I'll still drive them, and I'll go back and pick them. It was important. It wasn't convenient, but I know what I was doing. So that's the way things work. And we need to start to move right now, because I could speak forever on this.